But I do love that song, Teach Me to Dance to the Beat of Your Heart. If there's anything that I do need teaching, it is to dance to the beat of God's heart, to always stay in complete rhythm with Him and not to get out of sync at all. That song said, "You wrote the rhythm of life." Have you ever thought about your life having a rhythm? Is it something you've thought of? Or do you think that things in your life just happen to you randomly? Our scripture reading this morning talks about a definite rhythm. Time for everything to happen in its own time. Not just the big things. Yes, it talks about death. A time for death and a time for life. A time for love and a time for war. It spoke about all the big things, but it came right down as well to all the smaller things in our lives. There's a rhythm for everything to happen in its right time. Nature has a definite rhythm, doesn't it? I mean, we can see the rhythm of the seasons each year. In spring, new life starts springing up and new growth begins. In the summer, the crops begin to get ready, and trees and flowers bloom and create a spectacular, colourful landscape, don't they? We then move into harvest time, when everything is gathered in and stored to be used over the winter months. And then life moves on. When winter arrives, it begins a time of rest and restoration for nature. Nature lies dormant before it all starts again, and the cycle takes over once more. Creation. The story of creation was the same way, wasn't it? God worked, God toiled, as it said in our reading. He toiled for 6 days, and on the 7th day, He rested. God has created rest and restoration into all of these patterns for nature, for us, for all the different animals in the world. We all have a cycle, we all have a pattern, and God knows that we need rest and restoration in that pattern. We need to restore ourselves to a right relationship with God before time moves on again in its natural rhythm. Can you tell when you're not in the right rhythm with God? Do you recognise that when you feel out of step with what's going on? Do you feel out of sorts? When things stop feeling natural? I felt like that a year ago. I knew that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, and nothing that I was doing felt natural. I still kept coming to the services on a Sunday. I was still going along to songs to practice. I was still doing everything. I was still doing my devotions each day. But I knew that I was out of sorts. I wasn't in the correct rhythm. And I knew that I wasn't doing what God wanted me to do. I knew for sure that I was outside of His will for me. It's a very difficult feeling to have because it affects every part of you. We see it in nature as well, don't we? When we've seen the effects of global warming and what it has on our world. We see that the flowers start coming up too soon, don't we? They start way too early. We see buds start appearing in our gardens because it's too warm and they shouldn't be coming up. Rain starts falling really heavily in the wrong season. Or we get a long dry spell when we know we should be having April showers now to help the natural rhythm of spring. That the crops and the plants need water to help them grow. All of this affects the natural rhythm. Harvests are ruined. We've seen that in recent years, haven't we? Crops cannot be gathered in. And all those things that scurrying animals like to collect in autumn to store up for winter, well, there's nothing there for them to collect. And this is exactly what can happen in our own lives. It's what happened to me just over a year ago. when we stop living in sync with God's rhythm, we stop being effective or productive as a Christian, and we'll be unable to gather any type of harvest for God. Well, thankfully, I've got out of that stage now. When I didn't recognise it for myself. I knew I wasn't doing what I had to do, but it took me to go to somebody else. I had to go to Kingsley and to Paola, and had to say to both of them, I'm not doing what I should be doing. And it was for them to tell me what they thought I should be doing. And then as soon as they spoke to me, that rhythm came back, and I could feel it again, that I was back in step with God. So sometimes it does take speaking to somebody else, because they can see sometimes things that we cannot. Now, I have a lot of funny little ways, I realise that, and I do say funny little phrases, which mainly have come from my mum, I will admit. And the songsters now are quite used to me saying strange things. But when I want them to sing together more often, when I say together, I mean obviously they all sing together, but when I want them to sound more together, and when I want them to listen to each other, I often say that they sound like a donkey with a wooden leg. Okay, and they know what I mean. You might be sitting there thinking, what on earth, how can they sound like a donkey with a wooden leg? There's no natural flow to what they're doing. If you imagine a donkey walking along with a wooden leg, it's going to be a little bit like this. And they know what I mean, thankfully, by now, because they know how strange I am. It doesn't flow. Nothing flows, and nothing goes forward naturally. Another one that I do say to them as well, I am quite horrid to them, I think, most of the time. Another one I do say that they will recognise is I tell them they sound like they're wading